Hey there, my name is Alex, I am the Silvermont, and well, let's talk about E3 2017, shall we? I'll go through the conferences in order: Microsoft, Sony, then Nintendo, and then we'll talk a little about each of them. So, as usual, Microsoft are the first people to get their conference in, not including EA of course. What did they give us this year? Well, there were rumours of a new Ninja Gaiden and Halo 6, neither of which made an appearance. Well, what did we get though? Well, Microsoft didn't show much in the way of exclusives, but they did give us our first look at a new Metro game. I'm a little interested in this, but I didn't find myself impressed by the generic, look, it's a 5-minute vertical slice of scripted gameplay they showed off. How often are these representative of the final game? Virtually never. They also showed us Assassin's Creed Origins, Origins. That franchise has been really hit and miss for me over the years. Still, I must admit I'm a little interested in this one. Mostly because of the Egyptian setting though. They've also finally revamped the combat system. In terms of actual exclusives though, what was there? There was Sea of Thieves, and we got Crackdown 3 that are exclusive, but also on Windows 10. Those two stood out for me, in that I can remember them. I've been a big fan of Crackdown since the first game, but I confess, the trailer they showed off for 3, whilst Terry Crews is funny, the trailer didn't really impress me. The game has been in development for so long that I'm thinking they've had some big issues with it. The initial promise was wide-scale destruction and cloud-based physics, computations, or something along those lines. Still, I'll reserve judgment for the time being. And that's kind of going to be the theme of this video, actually, is I'm going to reserve judgment for the time being. Sea of Thieves. That's an interesting thing to say. Sea of Thieves looked like it could be kind of fun, but I'm struggling to see how it's going to work as an actual gameplay. It's another case of a game that looks cool when demoed in a highly controlled environment like E3, but how is it going to work for us when we're playing the game? Still, it's something I'll keep on my radar. Another game I believe that is Expo and Windows 10 exclusive is Ashen, a rather Souls-looking game, described as taking place in a sunless world that tells the story of a character seeking a home. Yeah, that's kind of Dark Soulsy. Based on open world exploration, co-op, and combat with monsters. It piqued my curiosity a little. Finally, Microsoft gave us a first proper look at BioWare's Destiny clone, Anthem. I'm very skeptical of this game, but I think it has potential. See, whilst the demo they showed looked interesting, I've been burned so many times before like this that I'm gonna withhold judgment until I can play it for myself. Essentially though, Anthem is an open-world, co-op third-person shooter with RPG elements, loot-based gameplay where your character has, for lack of a better term, Iron Man or Warframe-style suits they can upgrade and customize to fly around the world and fight things in. Why am I skeptical? Because of BioWare's track history in recent years. 5 years or so, they've kind of been downhill, but who knows, maybe this is their redemption. All throughout the demo though, I was getting flashbacks of Destiny's old E3 demo, even down to the wow, I got Thunderlord from a random enemy part. But, you know, I'll wait and see. If they do an open beta or something, that'd be a great chance to gauge the actual game and see through the smoke and mirrors of E3. Finally, Microsoft announced the Xbox One X, a high-powered version of their console, similar to the PS4 Pro, but a lot more powerful. They kept going on about how it's the most powerful console ever, so they're obviously very proud of that. Personally, I have zero interest because I already have an Xbox One and my PC is better than the Xbox One X, the Xbone X, the XXbone. I don't know. But I think this will make certain people breathe a sigh of relief because finally they'll be able to play games on their Xbone without knowing it's almost certainly the inferior version. And I say this with no bias whatsoever. Just as the 360 was usually the superior version of multiplats last gen, this time it's PS4. Although that's, you know, there are exceptions. The PS3 has some amazing looking games, and the Xbox One has some amazing looking games. The price point for the Xbox One is really steep though. It's $499 or like £450, I think, which is that's a lot for a console. I mean, the PS3 cost, like, was that $499 or $599 when it first came out? I don't remember, but it was a lot as well. And expensive consoles don't really sell that well usually, but who knows? Well, but given the specs of the system, it's understandable. Still, the Xbox One controller, the gamepad, is one of my favorite ever controllers, and I have one right here to demonstrate my point. But I'll admit I use it more on my PC than on my my actual Xbox One. I also have to give credit to Microsoft for their Play Anywhere system of buy a game on Xbox and get it on Windows 10 and vice versa sort of thing. Getting it on both platforms for one price is really nice, and I wish, just off the top of my head, I wish Final Fantasy XIV did that. Because if you want to play it on PC and PS4, and PS3 though, that's about to stop, you would have to buy it twice, which I think is kind of stupid. Overall though, Microsoft's showing wasn't a huge disappointment to me, because, well, I went in with very low expectations. I was expecting them to talk about the new console upgrade a lot, and show Crackdown 3, so, you know, they met expectations there. A small part of me was hoping for Ninja Gaiden 4, but I didn't really believe it would be there. Next up, Sony. At the time I originally wrote this script, the Sony conference hadn't happened yet, but it has happened now, so... Well, first up, I'll talk about what I wanted to see at their conference, and then we'll talk about what actually happened. Yeah. So there's been rumours of Dragon's Dogma 2, or Devil May Cry 5, there's been rumours of a new FromSoft exclusive. Did any of those show up? Well, I would have loved to see Dragon's Dogma 2, but I wasn't expecting it. What was I expecting? God of War and The Last of Us 2. Maybe a new Final Fantasy VII Remake teaser. Well, what did they actually show? I was so wrong. We got God of War, but that's all I managed to guess. In terms of the quality of the presentation, I think Sony edged out a win against Microsoft. They didn't waste time telling us how powerful things are, or waste time showing us real-life cars. It was probably less than 10 minutes of talking, and the rest was just like an hour of games. Sounds good in theory. The main issue is, well, they took 10 minutes of VR crap, which I could not care less about. But the problem was, it was kind of just an hour of cutscenes, by and large. We got a remake of Shadow of the Colossus, a remake, because it's already on PS3 as a remake, but there was a new Monster Hunter game, Monster Hunter World, which has some animations from Dragon's Dogma in it, which made me a little sad. There might have been something about pirates, but at this point, all of the conferences is kind of starting to blur together in my mind. There was God of War, there was some Uncharted thing, there was some zombie game. It was, to me, it was a weak showing, to be honest. The big finish was Spider-Man, a game we already knew about, but we were getting a gameplay reveal, and honestly I wasn't interested, because it was more scripted events. Don't get me wrong, I don't hate scripted events in games, they don't really sell me on games. I had other questions. I would have genuinely rather just watched them exploring the open world for 4 or 5 minutes. If there even is an open world in that game, which there should be. But, you know, I fully understand why E3 is full of scripted moments, because that's what has the wow factor. Monster Hunter World, though, could be interesting. That's on my radar, but it's not a PS4 exclusive, it's coming to Xbox and PC as well. I might potentially be interested in Spider-Man. Days Gone, or whatever that zombie game is, did nothing for me. It's just not my kind of thing. Destiny 2, I'll only pick that up if my friends do, and I'm really unimpressed that on the PS4 Pro and the Scorpio it's running at 30 FPS on both of them. The world's most powerful console, and it's playing Destiny 2 at 30 FPS. That's stupid. That's just Bungie being lazy and or incompetent. Either way, it's inexcusable. But, well, Call of Duty is presumably going to be a 60 FPS, but I don't really care anyway. I've not bought a Call of Duty game since 4. Not really my kind of thing. I'll probably pick up this Shadow of the Colossus remake, even though I already have the remake on PS3. I never really got far in it. This remake is a good chance to hop in, I suppose. God of War, might pick that up, largely out of curiosity. They showed some Your Choices Are Super Important games set in Detroit, but frankly the whole premise looks ridiculous to me and I'm not interested in that at all. Then, oh yeah, they had Marvel vs. Capcom, which... no thanks, not for me. But here's the main issue I had with Sony's conference. Sony seems so enamoured with The Last of Us, which I'm sure is a good game. I'm not hating on that by any means. I've never played it, but still. They're apparently turning everything into The Last for Us. The Last for Us? The Last of Us, even. The obsession with third-person, walking, scripted moments is starting to grate on me. I don't play video games to walk around and look at impressive graphics. Where's the gameplay? And on that note, I was disappointed by... well, disappointed but not surprised that we didn't get Dragon's Dogma 2 or Devil May Cry 5. So I think Sony showed less interesting games than Microsoft, but they had a better presentation as they only showed games. They didn't say, look at this car. I was like, okay, I don't want to look at the car, but whatever. Which leaves Nintendo. And once again, at time of writing, actually at time of recording, they've not released their video, but it comes out... actually, it's 5 PM, so it literally just came out right now. So I will take a break from recording this, go watch it, and then come back to recording this. That's going to be interesting. But I've not played Nintendo much in recent years. I'm a big fan of Zelda, Lilac Wars, F-Zero, Metroid, Pokemon, all that stuff, especially Smash Bros. I started to burn out on them though, because they use the same formula year in and year out. Breath of the Wild was a nice change from that, because, and that was me looking at my Breath of the Wild case up there, but Breath of the Wild was a nice change from the formula, so I'm hoping maybe they'll do some more of that. But what would I like to see? I suppose Smash Bros, Lilac Wars, F-Zero, Metroid. Honestly, I'm just not that interested in the Switch, as it looks a bit too gimmicky of a console for me. The only thing I think would really convince me to get one at this point would be Dragon's Dogma 2, Ninja Gaiden 4, or like a Bloodborne-style Nintendo exclusive Soul spiritual successor game, Mario Born, or something like that. If not for something like that, then I don't know, just not that interested in Nintendo at the moment. But hey, I'm gonna go watch their conference. Maybe I'll come back with my mind blown. Let's see. Well, I just watched Nintendo's live stream conference thing, and I'm not really sure what to say. I've not made any notes for this one, so I'm just gonna go by memory. They started off with some stuff I'm not too interested in. There was like a new Xenoblade. That's the first thing I would be a little bit interested in. Then they had like Fire Emblem Muso, Fire Emblem Warriors, with some really bad voice acting, which was like kind of making me cringe a bit. But hey, that's Fire Emblem Warriors for you, I guess. The most interesting things for me from the conference, which was quite short actually, like 30 minutes long maybe, which is probably the best way to do it. Metroid Prime 4, I imagine a lot of Metroid fans are happy about that. They didn't show anything, they just showed like the I don't even remember what it's called, like the Metroid icon, like the S thing, then like Prime 4, now in development for Switch. Not enough to make me buy a Switch, but it's definitely something people have been after for a very long time, so that's, you know, that's a nice surprise. There was announcement that they're making a Pokemon game for the Switch, like a Pokemon RPG for the Switch. that could be cool. I mean, I think, didn't I just say that a few minutes ago that was something I wanted? If not, then it was something I wanted. But again, still not enough for me to get a Switch, probably, unless it looks like really amazing. Other than that, they showed a new Kirby game. That's cool, I like Kirby. New Yoshi game, don't give a shit about that. They showed more of Mario Odyssey with a really weird theme tune, and it was a little bit creepy because Mario was like possessing people with his hat. Hey, I mean, the game, it looks fine, but it's... Honestly, I feel like having played Mario 64 and Mario Sunshine, none of the other 3D Mario games have really done anything so new and exciting that it's made me really want to play them. But, I mean, it looks fine, sure. What else did they show? There was no Monster Hunter. I know some people wanted a new Monster Hunter, but they didn't show that. There's that ARMS thing, which is like a sort of fighting game. They talked a little bit about, is it Pokken or Pokken? I don't know. It's like Pokemon fighting game with Tekken. Is it meant to be crossover with Tekken? Like, I know there's no Tekken characters in it, but the Pokken thing makes me think of Tekken. Maybe I'm just crazy. But that was Nintendo. I think overall, they might have had the best surprise announcements in Metroid Prime 4 and the Pokemon Switch game, even though they didn't show them, because those are both things that I know people have been wanting for a very long time. But again, nothing they showed is going to make me run out and buy a Switch right now. We'll see. But that was E3 2017 done and dusted, I suppose. Best looking games of the show for me? That's a good question. Nothing really stood out as looking amazing to me, but I think the thing I'm most interested in has got to be Anthem from BioWare. But again, I'm really skeptical about it, but it's something I'm definitely going to be following closely. Really hope they have an open beta or something so I can see what it's like. Other than that, there weren't any like really exciting announcements. It's maybe it's just where we are in this game cycle at the moment. I mean, the PS4 and the Xbox One, they've been out for a while now. It's kind of, I feel like they're trying to save some of the bigger things for the next generation, which is probably only a few years off at this point. So I don't know, maybe next year's will be better, but E3 hasn't been exciting for a while, but it's still kind of fun to watch. And this year in particular, I was live commentating on it with the Discord channel, which you can join too if you want. Just give me all your money and then you can join. But well, thanks for watching. This has probably been really long. I can't actually see because my webcam's in the way, but thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys next week for... I don't know what's happening next week. I guess we'll find out. Ciao.